Welcome everyone! Welcome to Drakenmemoria. For those of you who might be wondering what Drakenmemoria is, because, I don't know, you just accidentally made your way here, you just opened your window and that was there. I don't know why it would, but anyway, if you don't know what this is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons, and more specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. And surviving Dungeons and Dragons, hopefully. For everyone else who might be here because they actually like what's going on here, and you're back from previous session, and you find it fun, or you're just really craving Dungeons and Dragons right now. So, for all of you, well, welcome to our channel. It's a pleasure to have you all with us. If you have time, why not say something in the chat? It's always fun to see that you're actually there. Anything else? Well, we'll see. Hopefully we will again be raided by Chaotic Calling, but they've been absent last week, I think. But hey, it's always fun if they're there. And also Kearney City Guild, who you might actually be from, who lets us post about our little game. So if you're wondering what those are, Chaotic Calling is another D&D channel on Twitch. And Kearney City Guild is a Discord channel where people can go to find people playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's solely centered around Dungeons and Dragons. Players wishing to find campaigns, campaigns wishing to find players, and so on. You'll find their information just below the window. If you're watching this on Twitch, there is a panel for this under it. Or if you're watching this on YouTube a few days later, it's under the window. There's a link for Chaotic Calling Twitch channel and Kearney City Guild Discord. That's all the publicity that we have right now. Hopefully one day we'll have more, and we'll have to choose who we talk about at the beginning of each. But for now, this is it. And we're ready to start. As you might have noticed, there's a little bit of difference on the screen. Fortunately, Taikar will no longer be joining us. Essentially, he managed to contact us a few hours ago. Problem at home, and affected his life. Mostly his motivation. So, since he couldn't be a sure variable anymore, we agreed that it was the better decision to separate from the adventure. And for those wondering why audience is so small right now and look like he is stuck inside a baggage case with all of the clothes around him. Well, that's just because, hey, that's what happens when you don't always have the luxury of being at the place you wanted to be when the game started. So, but he's still with us, and if you are ready to do, just accept the fact that there's going to be a little black margin on each side of him. We're all going to be very good and fine. So, with all of this said, I hope you're ready to start. I hope you have something to drink. If not, too late. We're starting. So, last episode was mostly Fisher and Remy going about the garden trying to finish a few things. Remy decided to share a bit of his problem with the resident turtle of the garden, who encouraged him to be brave. That's really all you can say about it. Just go ahead, talk to audience, tell him why he's been so awkward around him, see what happens. Fisher was a different story, as he decided to, just before leaving, try to find this place where betting was occurring. So he did a very intriguing trek through gnomish laboratories and discovered that that place was a lot more dangerous than he initially believed, but apparently the gnomes live there quite well. There only has been half a casualty so far, so... Then he made his way to the place where they were making the bets. But unfortunately, he thought that he needed to deal with the person in front of this place, which was offering him to taste some potions. One potion had the unfortunate result of making him fart out all of his spell slot. The other one consists of a news that will later be talked a bit more, as it is something he needs to talk about with the group. But he did manage to find where he could place some bets, and placed a bet regarding his new problem. And then he made his way back to the rest of the party, who were waiting for him in the inn. So Fisher joins up with Audience, who has been talking with Tykar for maybe a few hours. Remy, who is looking frustrated because he didn't want to have to deal with Tykar when talking to Audience. And then Fish arriving with something in his hands. Something which he described by saying to the group, "Hey, how y'all doing? Guess what? I have a child." With in his hand a small creature that looks something between a maggot and a worm that is pitch black, 2-inch long. And this is where we left the last episode. So, Audience, Remy, how do you react to this incredible news?
I mean, I would probably be confused. It's like a black worm?
Yeah,
It's
basically,
a little black worm that
it's a creature 2-inch long, almost an inch in diameter, looking like something between a maggot and a worm, and it's pitch black. And judging from where its nose is pointing, it's staring at Fisher right now.
Okay. I'd be like, is it like the worm? I've seen one other guy kind of with a worm in my time, which was actually, in fact, another construct. So I'd be like,
No, that it really doesn't look like that at all.
okay. I'd be like, how did you make it?
that's a good question. I blacked out for most of it, but you know that gnome over in the shopping district.
Yeah.
Potions to test. Yeah, I
Yes.
took one of those. And I woke up. This guy was here. So yeah.
Interesting.
No idea what it is yet, but It apparently came out of me and it stopped staring at me, although it doesn't have eyes. So, yeah. So what's been up with you guys?
Not too much. I'm ready to go, I guess.
Sounds good. Just the card ready, everything?
I think so. I think we should have everything we need.
Do we want to go check the quest board one last time to make sure we didn't forget any information about it?
I mean, we don't really have that much information on it. It's kind of being updated. We don't have the initial information on it. That's why we have to contact Ami Ali when we get there, because she said she'd connect us with the person who they didn't have it described yet, of who knows more about it and wants to come with us, and we have to find that person.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Unless you guys need to finish breakfast first or something.
I'll dump, if I have any breakfast, I'll dump the plate down my throat. And then get...
Remy? I believe the
Remy
last
just stares at the
episode,
act and all.
last episode we ended with you trying to poke the worm.
Yeah, just
It's recoiling a bit as soon as he sees your claw arriving, and you see him just keep recoiling and pushing his head back, or what you feel is his head back, so that you don't touch it.
If he keeps trying to touch it, I'll pull it away from him. Ramy, stop it. Don't touch you.
Remy just gives you the sad eyes.
Well, I'd let you know more if I knew more. But, yeah.
Remy, most likely you're among those who knows the most about arcane things in the group, having spent so much time scrolling through Scroll and trying to make copies of them. Even for you, this is slightly weird. You've never heard of something like that?
Something smells like horse shit.
That's rude. I mean, the other potion I drank made me poof out all my magical energy, so maybe that's it. But, sorry, I guess?
Remy just blinks.
Oh.
One confusing thing on top of another.
We can talk about this on the road.
All right. So, Remy, anything else you'd like to do, or are you just consenting and accepting this odd new fact of life? Fisher is a father now.
Although, actually, now that, I was just like, Remy's just going to minor illusion male symbol? Female symbol?
Well, seeing as I have no idea what this is, I don't know its anatomy well enough to determine its sex. So,
Blinks more, and just like, as he thinks more on this, he's going to start making a mental note about destroying the library when he gets back.
Okay, destroying the library. That's interesting.
believe the audience might mention, you do realize we're going on a dangerous quest to a dangerous laboratory. Might not be the best place to bring your newly born child. I mean, you're the parent here, but
I mean, trial by fire and all that.
it's a day. Okay.
I don't know what it is. I'm
I'm
sure
not
it'll be
a parent.
fine.
If you want to go with that parenting technique, that's all you. I'm not gonna get.
Rainy produces for you a lockbox.
Does it have... I mean, sure, yeah, no. I was going to think about getting one of those, but I kind of forgot. So, yeah, I'll take that.
Oh yeah, that's always good with kid. Oh yeah, I wanted to buy him a safety belt. I forgot.
Fisher doesn't know how kids work. They're just smaller people that are afraid of him, usually.
Well, this
Yeah,
one
so
seems
I'll,
to be fascinated by you.
I'll put him in the box, but I won't close the lid yet.
Yet. Okay.
I don't need to breathe. It probably doesn't need to breathe.
It looks in the box.
Figure it out as we go.
Looks in the box. Looks at you. Looks in the box. Worms its way inside the box. Looks at you from the box.
I give it a thumbs up.
It just keeps staring at you. Or
Yeah.
at least you think it's staring at you.
Maybe it's just mooning me this whole time.
Yeah, you can't figure out. Maybe it's his butt and he's just orienting it toward you. You don't know. Alright, so you place your new child inside the box and you make your way to your cart. You find your cart there. The horse is still attached to it. He's been fed. There's not. There aren't any new equipment inside the cart other than your tent, who has been completely folded back. Because you'd had took out the tarp section of that to shield yourself from the rain. But hey, so it's been completely replaced. There's no more food or water in it. Water, that's easy enough to replace. Food, however, well, audience has some. Don't know if horse likes that, but you know.
I don't know anything's missing that should be there, or not thinking about it because I don't need those things. So I'm ready to go.
Real question: do we even need our cart since we're taking a portal back and then go into a thing?
Isn't where we're going up in the mountains? It's not
True.
in the city.
No.
We're gonna regret not having the cart if we don't bring it. So we should probably.
Yeah, well, to be exact, you are going maybe half a day away from the city. So the cart can be useful. Like I said, a cart doesn't give you any addition in movement. You can't move faster. But it does help to have a place where you can easily get a short rest, store equipment, and using Fisher ability to keep on going and change his cycle fairly easily, you can essentially double the distance you can make inside of a single day. that's mostly the use of a cart. Since your destination is half a day away, the only interesting thing about it is the ability to have a short rest while you're coming back from it.
Because we don't even need it for storage anymore because we got my interdimensional space.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about that. I mean, I guess, yeah. Don't really need the cart.
I'm thinking about whether we want to try and bring a horse again somewhere where we might leave it for
Seeing
long
as it got left last time, yeah.
as we wander into a.
Really, I mean, it's amazing it made it all the way back here to begin with.
No, they sent
I mean-
they sent someone.
They said,
They left
Well,
the
there's
food as
definitely time.
collateral.
There's definitely time.
would we go into like what in a underground like lab academy like mages basically thing? It's like, do we really want to leave a horse on the surface? You know.
Fair enough. Did we get anything when we originally left? Was there anything in the cart for this quest, or was it
No.
all for the other one?
No, because they don't really know what's inside. Part of what is intriguing about this quest, it's the first abandoned laboratory found on the island of Estrin. The island isn't that old to have these laboratory abandoned in different places, especially from something like an elf or a gnome. This time it's a gnome. So it's odd. They don't really know what to give you. They don't know if they should give you anything. And the person that wants a group to explore this didn't actually give them any information. For the garden, it's just curiosity. Oh, an abandoned laboratory. There's bound to be interesting knowledge in there, and we want to learn more about your world. That's basically their take on it. The person that you're supposed to meet, maybe he's going to want more, but you don't know about that.
Well, yeah, then I guess we're good.
Yeah. Let's just portal out. You know.
All right.
Take that portal.
So,
Portal party.
yeah, party! Okay, so you take the portal, you don't take the cart?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Also, before,
Yeah.
is there like a warden manning the portal or something?
yeah, there's always a warden inside the docking area.
Before we leave, I'll just go up to him. Just a quick question. Have you ever seen one of these on My World before? And I will show him the worm thing.
The warden looks at you, very intriguing. I don't believe anyone has ever shown me something like this. Where did you find it?
I made it
An
unintentionally.
even more interesting statement.
Or at least it came out of me.
That's... Well, all I can say is I hope when you come back from most likely a quest you're going on, you will stop at the laboratories and let someone study you a bit, as we had no idea you could produce this.
Yeah, me neither. May have had some help.
Intriguing.
But, yeah, I guess we'll talk about that when I get back.
Very well.
I whisper to Remy, he may be infected. We may have to put him down.
So this is going to Otnell, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No? Yep. Okay.
Alright. So, you all gather around, you enter the portal, and as always, it's a bit of a brief shock, but you find yourself about you look around, you see Otonel. It's roughly maybe an hour away of walk. You're a little bit south of Otonel. So you start, after reorienting yourselves, you start walking, but maybe half an hour later, just as you are, oh, all right, well, Otonel's just there, and oh, look, there's another floating ship that's arriving. Two things happens. One, the orb, your communication orb, starts humming.
I mean, I'll pull it out and look at it probably because I haven't seen it do that before.
Well, you've seen it a few times, you know. It's just that usually you're the one humming others. Now you're the one being hummed. So take the orb out and just trace a quick glyph on it. And as always, you see Syrah's face appear. Ah, audience.
Yes. What's up?
Good, good. If you don't mind, before you keep on going to your next adventure, we believe we might have a adventure in need, very close to where you are. He set off just before you arrived, so about 3 days ago. A bit of an odd quest, but he seemed to be confident. Something about a roaming forest, roaming grove. That he seemed to be confident, and he went. But it's been 3 days. We would have sent Sarn to take care of this, but he actually is right now on a quest. Something a bit offshore, on the other side of the mountains that you most likely can see right now to the north. If you wouldn't mind, the grove has been seen maybe an hour away of walk from where I believe you are right now. Shouldn't take long. Just make sure he's okay. He's a bit new to the adventuring world.
I mean, if it's on our way, absolutely. I mean, we'll check in. I guess as I start walking, I'll be like, roaming grove. Well, I know someone who might know something about that. I'll summon Tree Man.
All right. So,
Who's Tree Man?
All right. So, do you close the conversation, or do you?
Close. I tell her we'll head over that way,
Okay.
since it's only an hour. You know, it's on our way basically.
Yeah.
It's a little out of our way.
So you close the orb, you plant Orunak's seedling, and after a minute you see him emerge, take shape, and your small tree elemental appears in front of you. Oh, it's been a bit of a while.
Nope. We're just calling you because I was just quickly asked. We were actually on our way to the city, but we've been asked to quickly stop and check in on an adventure that was checking out a roaming grove, I think, and I thought you might have some, just expertise in that area. You being a tree and all, so I thought I'd bring you along on this one.
Well, that's a pretty generic term, It's sort of like asking me, oh, have you seen a cart traveling through a city? I mean, yeah, there's a number of roaming grove throughout the world. Usually it's simply a little space, natural space, roaming around. But I guess if it's problematic, something might have gone wrong in it. Usually when something goes wrong, you can easily notice this. Sometimes it might be stuck in one season perpetually, or it might trap people inside of it, confusing them, getting them lost inside of a small space. Sometimes there can be creatures causing this. Sometimes they've been defiled by someone, intentionally or not. It rarely happens naturally, but sometimes it does. I mean, without
Alright.
more information, that's hard for me to...
Well, I mean, we're heading over there now, so if you just want to tag along,
Oh, yeah,
just
sure.
give your get there.
All right, sure. So you start walking that direction, and Ornak follows you. But the second thing that happens is that you realize that Taikar is looking at all of you and then looking at the skies. He looks at all of you and just says, "We are going inside of a dark place, aren't we? Again?"
I mean, later. I don't know about right now. We're gonna go into the laboratory, which is underground. So yes, I don't know if we're doing that right now, but we're going to some grove. I don't know if it's dark.
You aren't going to want to teleport us all back out again, are you?
I don't know. Honestly, it's... He looks at Remy, sort of for a little bit of understanding. We, creatures of the aerial plane, we don't like being underground. It's sort of a bit against our nature. This is why I triggered the teleportation. Listen, I really need the air. I need the skies. I thought I could be an adventurer with you on the ground, but I need the skies.
Okay. I mean, go for it. I guess. I don't really.
Listen, if you're ever in Ottenel and our ship is there, just come and visit us. We could easily show you our hospitality. It's the least we can do, and I feel bad about leaving you like this, but I can't live underground like this always. It's not natural.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you in Othenel then at some point.
Yes. I'll leave a note to the captain. He's... If you get inside the ship, he will let you in for free.
Okay.
Well,
And
what?
I will
which
show
ship
you what
is
I
it?
am good at if you come and visit.
Which ship is it?
It's a bit hard to see from here. It's a large one, one
I
that
think
does one that doesn't need sails. It just floats.
What's it called?
He never told me. He gives you the name of a ship.
Okay. Got it.
It's part of his backstory, but he never finished it. So
Tips.
Uh-huh. Well,
Well- good luck.
yeah, I guess good luck. Sorry to see you go, but
I'm sorry too. I just can't.
respect a man for knowing his limits, I guess.
Yes, and good luck with your child.
Yeah. Thanks, I guess. We'll see where it goes.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you all. Take care of yourself. And he takes a few good swings with his wings and a few good flaps with his wings. Sorry, and he flies off toward Otanel.
Audience will turn to Fisher and will be like, to be honest, I actually never thought he was going to stick around that long, simply off the fact that he wasn't in any of our visions, and I'm starting to think that if people aren't in our visions, they're not going to stick around that long.
I mean, I guess, yeah, that's fair enough.
And he just thinks to himself, and so the interloper has left the equation.
It just never really seemed like he was or knew what he was getting into when he signed up for all this. But I'd rather have him admit that it's not for him than try and stick around longer and till something bad happens.
Yeah.
And he flashes back to when he faked a heart attack in an attempt to try to steal a 15,000 plus item from a store with heavy security.
Mhm.
And just shakes his head inaudibly.
I was like, I'm a little sad to see him go because I was hoping he would help me, with some musical performances, perhaps, speak well about the dragons. But, he was just going to be an added, side piece. I'm the main course, though. It's okay. I can do it without him.
Uh-huh.
Raimi nods in agreement and remembers this phrase.
Okay.
Audience, really, I just think, your pitch about the dragons really sells itself. Don't think it'd take a lot of convincing, because it's just so obvious and easy to follow. And
I'm going to roll insight.
Okay.
you have to beat an 8.
Oh goodness.
I rolled a 9 with a 0 bonus, so I did.
I rolled a 9 with a -1 bonus.
So Fisher, you do your best. Audience, you look at Fisher, and there's something fishy about him. Remy, with your passive insight, you immediately realize that he's not sincere.
I just kind of look at Fisher and go, uh-huh. And then keep walking towards the grove.
How is somebody that doesn't really have facial expressions this bad at lying? Who knows?
It's all in the voice.
Yeah.
You have Orunak, who just looks at all of you. Yeah, I'd forgotten that there was so much drama in this group. All right, let's keep going.
Hey, at least we remembered you this time.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit surprised. Though with what he said last time, I'm imagining that it's not me he was hoping that would appear. So
Well, listen, you're always a welcome addition to the party. I'll give him a light pat of assurance.
yeah, I could feel the warmth in this. Thanks. And he keeps walking.
You're welcome, champ. Keep it up. Just keep walking.
All right. So you walk for about an hour and a half, and you finally find this odd grove. And you've crossed the road, a road that you've taken before, and from the road you can see this odd grove. You don't remember seeing it the last time you were there. You passed by this place. Wasn't there. There's not supposed to be a forest either in this section. And oddly enough,
Shit.
groves aren't large, but you can't see the center of it.
Hey, Oranek, how weird would it be if the wandering part of Wandering Grove was literal?
Not that much, to be honest.
So trees and stuff can just move around.
Well, there's so
I'm
many
pretty
answers
sure this
to
wasn't here last time.
There's so many answers to this. And he looks at himself. Yeah, a tree
Outside
can
of-
move.
Intelligent, elemental, primordial beings such as yourself.
It's not common, but I think that something like this is more of a place than actual walking tree. Like a place moving about, appearing and disappearing, and
Oh well.
Hopefully it doesn't move while we're in it.
Yeah. Audience will first, before they walk in, it's down the outside. He'll call out, "Hello? Is there any adventurers here? We never actually got a name, but there was some adventurer supposed to check you out. Are you around here, adventurer? Answer me if you hear my voice."
you wait a few moments. You don't hear anything. The grove seems quiet. Eerily quiet.
I'm like, well, didn't think it would be that easy. Guess we're going in.
All right. So,
Raimi is going to be opening his perception to
to the
any
max.
dangers.
All right, make a perception roll.
Yeah, so somehow I feel like I shouldn't trust the passive perception of audience.
He's not known to be very good at perception roll. No.
18.
18. All right. Well, with an 18, the closer you get, the more you have the feeling that whatever this is, it's completely localized within this grove. Outside, everything seems quite normal. You see small birds, you see a squirrel just running by, but you also notice that no animals are actually running toward the grove. They're running past it, around it, and that was an odd picture that we got. All right.
Man, audience really isn't paying attention.
All right. So, did we lose him for good, or?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I just had to turn off my camera because I got a notification that my phone was overheating.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's nice.
Okay,
So
well,
that's cool.
in that case,
mean,
if you don't
By
mind,
definition, not cool.
I'll add your picture so we don't have to look at the S symbol all along. But all right, cool. All right. So, the closer you get to this grove, the more it feels like there's something odd about it, in the sense that it's not that large. Just like that, it looks like a large grove, but the largest of grove is maybe it's never more than a few 100 feet wide. So you should be able to see through it. But after maybe 5 or 6 trees, it gets darker and darker and darker until you can't see anything. One thing that you do actually see, however, is a path entering the grove.
Raimi is noticeably creeped out.
Are there any tracks on the path?
Well, Fisher, make a perception roll. Or actually, for tracks, I believe it's nature.
Okay. That is technically better than perception if I'm not counting pterodactyl.
So
That is
you
correct.
just
Or
don't
correct.
want him to be the one that's
That's 9.
9.
Oh,
Rolled a 6.
Well,
I'm back.
the soil looked disturbed. And there is a sign that someone was waiting there for a while. There's even sign that there was a campfire just outside of it. But really, with a 9, that's all you get. Remy, with your perception, you'd perceive a bit more. There was someone here. The campfire is large enough for several people. It's and most likely someone stayed there for at least a day. So someone was waiting there for a while. Most likely for someone to arrive. Judging from the surrounding, how the dirt is disturbed, and they also had a bit of equipment. There's clues that there was something heavy, so most likely something armored that sat there. Something quite light, also, as you do find a little bit of what seemed to be cloth, a bit torn out, as if someone got up and stepped over his own robe and just damn. So probably something like 3, maybe 4 person. And they all seem to have went inside.
so he'll say, "The rats await the piper."
I doubt I'm getting anything from that.
I don't know if we're going to find any rats here. I mean, rats are usually like more in like urban areas, or like on like a boat or something. Not really out in the woods. There was
Maybe
a
there,
campfire there though.
maybe there's a variation of woodland rats he's speaking of that we don't know about.
I mean, there's like field mice, unless Raimi, do you mean like rats as in like a crappy person?
Remy,
kind of.
Remy, for a moment, you see Orunak looks at you, looks at everyone else, and just go. But he's waiting for you to say something because he saw that you were opening your beak.
Like opens his beak, kind of sighs, and just kind of like puts up his talon hand and kind of goes, eh.
You have Orunak.
Fair enough.
Orunak looks at all of you and like, I mean, yeah, some of this legend ends in the forest, but don't you know any lore at all?
Not unless it's about fighting. And or fighting
He looks at
Magic.
you, he looks at audience.
or building constructs.
He looks at you, Fisher, he looks at audience. He looks at Remy. And he just shrugs and says, yeah, well, that makes sense. There was a piper who had the ability to draw mice from a flute. I say it was most likely a druid. But hey, humans tend to argue on that. And he drew mices with his flute. So, based on what he said, I'd say he means the adventurer went in. And he looks at you, Remy.
Remy nods.
Ha! And that's what rolling a 17 is.
Well, good to have you here, Oranek. The lore stories guy just left.
Yeah, I guess.
Actually,
I
Remy is
invite-
going to. Remy is going to pick up the torn cloth that was left behind, and he's going to make appear.
You have your familiar that appears.
And kind of like holds out the cloth to them and like communicates find.
Your cat looks at you for a moment, and you sort of get this feeling that he's looking at you with this commentary inside his head. What am I, a dog?
And responds with, please.
He sniffs it. And he starts moving toward the grove. You know, like cats do. Like they don't really care about this. That walk that they have, that they sort of tell you there better be food at the end of this for me. And he just keeps walking in. Alright, you see your cat and he moves inside the forest.
And Remy trails behind.
Alright. Fisher, audience, what do you do?
Follow.
Okay.
Yep.
So, you follow Remy as he enters the forest, and for a brief moment, one more. Haha! Map drawn in 15 minutes. So, you enter the forest, and immediately you notice that there is a sense of darkness, something heavy all around you, and you easily notice this darkness that seems to be preventing you from seeing more than maybe 15 or 20 feet out of the path that you're following. Remy, you follow your cat, and he moves in, but you've noticed that he suddenly is moving with a very uneasy step. You see him stop and roll the perception roll for your cat for me, please.
Is this based on sight? Before I ask, or before I roll?
All of his senses: hearing, sight, and smell.
Okay, then, because like for two of those, he gets advantage, so that's why I was asking. Let's see. Did I roll with advantage or just what I got?
Why do you think it's gonna make someone in the group feel bad? You can roll with advantage. I really don't mind.
Okay, that I mean, like it's not about. It's less about like can I, and it's more about permission.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Then that'll be a 15.
Okay. So you see your cat suddenly becoming very tense, very worried about this, and you even start hearing him go. But what's even more worrying, and this is something audience Remy and Fisher hear, you hear coming from the wood.
Does that just sound like just an animal noise? Or
If it is, you've never heard an animal sound like that.
it's not speaking in primordial, is it?
No.
Okay.
I'll turn to Ogonak. Is that normal for Wandering Groves, that noise?
Normal can be very flexible in those things. But judging from the feeling of heaviness, I'd say no.
What are the chances something that makes a noise like that doesn't want to just eat us?
Oh, that's
Or
a hard
eat
question.
them?
I'd say 4 chance out of 10. There are worse things
That's
than
not bad.
there are worse things than being eaten alive.
Oh, never mind.
Well, we can speculate or we can go check it out. And the audience will start heading towards the noise.
All right.
Ravi is going to check. Does pulling out his lantern improve visibility at all, or is this a prevailing darkness?
Oh. All right. So you push a charge of magic inside it.
It should still be lit from the previous night, but yes.
1, 2,
'Cause I don't
3,
think,
4, 5. Yeah, if you pushed 2 spell slot in it, you still have maybe 2 hours of light with it. Okay, so you take your lantern out, you lift the shutter, and from where you are in the path, visibility was about 15 feet. When you take your lantern out, you notice that it barely adds 5 feet to the visibility you have. There is something pushing against it.
Amy continues to be noticeably creeped out and quickly follows after audience before he gets himself in trouble.
Right. You push on to this path toward this odd sound, and for about 30 feet, there's nothing in front of you. But the path keeps on going, and you start getting this odd feeling of being watched. Even though some of you have a very low passive perception, and passive insight, you really feel like there's something around. Something watching you. Something noticing you.
Audience is gonna draw his sword.
I use Terranad to cast light.
Okay. You cast light, and, well, the radius doesn't go a lot further than Remy's lantern, as it's basically the same spell. It pushes on a bit further, and everyone makes a perception roll, please.
Yep, I'm back. That's 8 or 10 with Terranad.
Okay.
Mine's a 6, so keeping up with my perception rolls as well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I never left, so 25.
So, audience looks around, and that's creepy. And that's it. He just keeps on moving. Fisher uses his light and shines it in front of him, and yeah, there's definitely something pushing against the light. But that's about it. Remy, you look around, and this is when it hits you. The path that you're on, you can't see the light of the entrance on it anymore.
Oh. Yeah, Remy just tugs on audience's clothes, tugs on his arm and points back at the way that they came.
Audience, the only thing you see with that amazing perception roll that you made is that, the entrance is dark right now. You're pretty sure it's not supposed to be night. Or dusk, anyway.
I'll think to myself, that's odd.
Fisher, I imagine that you've seen Remy just tug on audiences. I was going to say shirt, but he's shirtless right now, so it's
yeah. That's why I hesitated. Oh right, he's not wearing a shirt. His arm.
Remy, you pointing at a thing or the lack of a thing?
Remy holds up 2 talons.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but we're not. I mean, it's not like the entrance isn't there anymore, right?
Remy looks at him with a look.
Well, if it's not going backwards, this is not going to help, I guess. So it's great.
That's the judgment. We're screwed. You hear Orunak go, oh, that's a new sensation. I've never been nauseated before.
Raimi turns his head.
If something's infecting the grove here, that wouldn't be able to affect you, would it?
That's a bit of a broad question. Depends on what's happening.
You're not going to turn evil on us, are you?
I'd like to say no.
I will take no.
And anyway, as long as I have my wits, I can just move out of the body. Let's go back. I don't know how summoning me in here is gonna work if I leave, but there's always that if something goes weird.
Well, we'd rather not have you than have you trying to kill us. So
Your decision.
I guess, yeah, stick around as long as you can, but keep that in mind.
Okay. So where did you go?
Keep going forward.
Okay.
Into the woods we go again. We'll have to every now and then.
You keep on going through this path. And
Hey, Raimi, we're not trying to be sneaky, right? I say after, like, tripping over a root or something.
trip over a root, you hear king katong. We're not trying to be stealthy, right? Remy, did you answer that?
Yeah. Raimi just looks to him and says, "The rats have already eaten the cheese."
Mm-hmm. I'll take that as a no.
Okay. So you keep on going on this path, and the path seems to be curving slightly to your right. Keep on moving, and there's always this feeling of darkness that follows you everywhere. The forest on each side is hard to see through. You are certain that you are now completely surrounded by this wood. After maybe a few minutes, you do arrive at a point where the road forks. It keeps on going, or it forks slightly to the right, which is a bit odd when you think about it, because the way that this road splits, you should have seen it from the path you were on. It's really a Y that a reversed Y, that the branches of the Y would be very, very close to one another, like this. And you were coming up this branch, but you couldn't see this other branch until you were literally standing in this intersection.
Does it get wider ahead of us?
No, the path keeps on going. Same
Are there
side.
any tracks coming this way from the other path?
Sorry?
Are there any tracks coming this way from the other path?
Oh, make a... Oh, goodness. I can never remember if tracking is survival or nature.
It's supposed to be survival.
Survival.
Nature is more for recalling knowledge about the world.
Yeah, about animals and... All right. All right, so...
Noise. Way worse. Let's go.
Blame
But
him.
I rolled way better, so 16.
16.
Rolling that, I'm calling out again
So,
because we're now deeper in the grove.
I missed most of what you said. The sound was a bit
He's
muffled.
rolling his perception in case he hears anything.
Okay.
While he's making his perception check, I'm calling out again to see if the adventurer answers me.
Okay. So, Fisher, you look down and you look around, and that path, all of these paths, even the one that you came from, look pristine. You can't even see your own tracks in it.
Oh, that's not good.
Audience, you cry out for the adventurer, and for a moment you don't hear anything, but then you get this oppressing feeling coming from what you believe is the path that you all came from. When you look behind, you notice that the darkness has spread to the path itself, as if night had reached this position maybe 40 feet away. And it's slowly creeping up. Not only that, but you hear from inside the darkness this awful sound of
Audience is going to make the very tactical decision of continuing away from the darkness at a slightly faster pace.
which path are you taking?
The one that's away from the darkness.
It's a Y-shaped path. So there's the one
Maybe.
that has the darkness, there's one that is slightly to your right and going down, and one that seems to be going up.
I like up.
Yeah, up sounds good. Yeah, guys, there's definitely something magical going on here. I've never not left tracks before in my entire life, except for right now. So, also that's not good. Pointing at the encroaching darkness.
You start moving off, and
Can I cast light on like a rock or something and leave it behind us to see if it gets like swallowed up?
Yeah, sure.
I'll do that as we keep going.
You look around and you find this small rock. You cast light on it and you just throw it in the path of this darkness coming on. You see the darkness moving forward, stepping over the light and completely absorbing it. The light just stops when it moves over it.
Yeah, that's not good. How fast is it moving?
Right now, not very fast, but that's the thing that you don't like. Seeing as how you're looking at it straight on and right on, that would be nature check, please.
Wow. 9.
Oh yeah. All right. So with a 9, the only thing you can glean off of this is it looks like a cat moving toward a small insect. That's the
Oh, like
feeling that it gives
it's-
you.
Stalking us slowly, kind of thing.
Like I said, that's the feeling that it gives you.
Mm.
A cat moving toward a small insect. Slowly. With his
Yeah, audience,
ears
I think you got the right idea here. Move into a brisk walk, or maybe a slow jog.
Alright, so you keep moving up and you walk, and it feels like. Hold on. I like doing this, it creeps people out. Alright. Now that's better. You keep moving on this path, and you see it curves slightly to your left. You move, and it's a long path. Some of it feels a bit familiar, but it's weird. You keep moving, and at one point you look back, and you seem to have distanced the darkness. You don't see it anymore. But what's arriving seems to be another Y-shaped intersection.
Does it look exactly the same as the last one?
Fairly similar. There are a few differences just looking at the how the terrain looks. The first intersection, the lone branch, seemed to be going slightly to the right. This one seemed to be going slightly to the left. And as you're moving about, you notice that the other branch, the other Y-shaped branch, is on your left and not on your right. But other than that, it feels pretty similar, with one difference. As you approach this, you see someone looking slightly panicked, moving toward you. Jorg.
Jorg?
Yeah, that's
How
how I
you pronounce
believe.
that?
I believe that's how the name is pronounced.
George.
Nice. It is just George without the E. Yep.
Jorg, you've been following this small voice that you heard. And this is both nice and distressing, as you see a group of people moving toward you with a brisk pace. You're at this Y interception, and you're a bit more familiar with this, how confusing this place is. You haven't had a lot of time to sit down and try to think about how this works, but you see this Y interception, and from your angle, the Y is right in front of you, and you see these 4 people coming straight at you. You remember hearing, while you were in the garden, about this paladin who divine smited someone with a chair the first day he wasn't there. And this, the Dragonborn in the group, looks oddly like the description that you've got from that. The other ones, it's a bit hard to tell. One looks like someone in heavy armor. The other one is a bird. You've heard there's a bird inside the garden. Well, there was 2. But one's been there more predominantly. Are they people from the garden? But that's all the information that you have. But they're walking in your direction at a brisk pace, looking behind them quite often. Which you most likely have a bad feeling of why they're doing that.
You guys, are you from the garden?
Yes. Are you the adventurer that got lost in the grove?
I'm one of them. The others are more permanently lost.
What does that mean?
They're not coming out of the garden or the
grove.
grove.
Oh,
Is
did the darkness get them?
Yes, and if you know where the darkness is, I'd suggest walking brisker.
well, it was behind us, but I think we left it behind.
Jorg, you know that this thing hunts. And it doesn't seem to be confused about the layout of this place.
I don't think you've lost it, but it may not be as close as it was.
That's unsettling. But yeah, we're from the garden. And it appears we are now lost with you.
Well, that's better than being lost alone, I guess. I know there's a sort of sanctuary in here, but I can't find it.
Oh, that's not. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we just walked in a circle. Because this looks a lot like the last intersection we were at, but that time we came from that direction.
Jorg, you know that this is very possible, but you don't know for sure.
All right. Well, I assume going that direction does not get us back to the entrance. But seeing as I came from that direction, maybe we should go the way you guys came and see where we go.
What if we just off-road it? Maybe the problem is we're sticking to paths. Maybe we just need to go into the woods.
It is dark in the woods.
Well, I mean like, I don't know. Don't ask me that.
How thick is the forest?
At first glance, not thick enough to be this dark.
But like trudging through it, is it like tons of bushes and stuff, or is it
No,
just like
it
trees?
looks fairly easy to do.
I think that's probably a good idea. Although I'm not too enthusiastic about it. These paths don't seem to go anywhere.
What? Well, which direction did you just come from?
From your perspective, Jorg, you came directly from the path that is behind you. The lone branch of the Y.
I came from the lone branch of the Y. And they're on the right? Or
There,
am I right?
from your perspective, they are on the left branch of the Y. They're coming from the left branch of the Y.
Well, if you came from that direction, supposedly, if we take this other branch, that would be back the direction we initially came in from. So, I mean, might as well try that, but, 50-50, whether or not there's just magical nonsense going on right here now, and we're going to go in a circle again.
I say it's worth it.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, then we can try off-roading it. But we're already lost. I don't think going off the path is the best idea right now.
Sometimes, no. You know what? I don't know. Let's try just following the path down. I'm just spitballing here. I honestly don't know where we're supposed to go. I can cast some divine intervention, so at least I can know whether the darkness is within 60 feet of us. But I only can use 3 of those. Not divine sense. But yeah, I would more want to wait on those a bit until we figured maybe some other stuff out.
Yeah. I feel like if it's close enough for that to work, we'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
So maybe wait until we can. It looks
Well,
like it's close enough.
It also senses good, though. So it's like if there's a sanctuary, maybe it can sense somewhat in the direction that good is if we're somewhat close to it.
That's a good idea.
Is the sanctuary the place you had that campfire?
No?
As far as you know, Jorg, you didn't make a campfire in the fairy ring that you found. Because you also know that in groves, these places are usually nature sacred. So disturbing them is not necessarily a good thing. The last time you had a campfire, it was just before entering this place.
I haven't. I've been using light for my light and eating dried meat and berries.
How long have you been in here?
From your perspective, Jorg, it feels like you've been here for a week.
I don't know, but it feels like a week. There's no daytime.
Fisher, Audience, and Remy, the garden said he has been here for only almost 3 days.
You slept?
Yes. he did.
Yes. In the sanctuary,
Ah.
but I haven't found it.
That's not okay. Well, yeah, I'm Fisher. This is Audience. That's Ramy. And that's Oranak.
So just to know that what everyone is seeing, Jorg, what do you look like exactly?
I am a 6'1" man. I am.
Everyone's so tall in this group.
I'm 20 years old, but I look more mature than that, and I'm pretty dirty and clad in sheep fur and leather armor with a staff of oak.
We get a naturey vibe.
A bit.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
I've also got little sacks of berries hanging on my staff.
Ah,
Nice.
well. Good to meet you, adventurer from the garden.
I wish
You have
we
a
met.
name?
I'm Jorg. Nice to meet you too, and I wish we met in better circumstances.
Yeah,
George,
well,
what is your profession in adventuring?
I am a humble druid, but I'm learned in clerical ways.
Okay. I've known both a druid and a cleric, but never both at the same time.
That's a little.
Maybe.
Well, we
Kinda.
can talk about it as we keep moving.
Just as
Yeah.
you said,
Right, guys?
just as you say that, Fisher, you hear Oranak go, "Yeah, I think it's about time we move." Jorg, this is a sound that you've become very familiar with. This. It is moving. It is getting closer. And it apparently is coming from the path that you came from, just behind you. Maybe 50 feet away, you see the darkness approaching slowly and slowly.
Do I hear any more child laughter?
No, you
Oh,
don't.
Jesus.
You don't. Yeah, I gave him a little description of everything that he's been seeing in here. He's a bit further down the nightmare. No, you haven't.
Audience,
You haven't been hearing any other child laughter.
since no one's tried this yet, audience is going to try a more, as they start to move, is going to try a more aggressive tactic by trying to find something that he can throw into the darkness to see if it has any physical form,
Okay.
like a stick or a
It
rock.
swallowed my light rock.
Yeah, I mean, but that was light. Like, I'm going to chuck it at it, like, hard.
Okay. You take the largest stone or rock that you can find. You find a rock that has a bit of glowing moss on it. And, okay, you throw it as hard as you can. Make a... Well, that would be improvised weapon throwing,
Yeah.
so dexterity
Dexterity?
without proficiency.
Okay. I think that's +3. I want to say +3.
Yeah, I have your character sheet right here. Yeah.
Okay, that's a 14.
14. You throw the rock inside this encroaching darkness, and you see the rock enter, disappear inside the darkness. There's a brief pause from the darkness. And Jorg, this is where you have this feeling of, oh no, shit. And you see the darkness rush so fast you can barely see it coming. It envelops the group, and you're all completely surrounded by darkness. And it feels like you're inside the lung of a creature, breathing so heavily it's deafening. And this is
That's
where
when I'm going to cast Divine Sense and see if I can figure out if there's any direction that this thing is coming from. That's when I bought the Divine Sense.
Oh, all right. Well, we're going to take our break here, and we're going to have the result as soon as we come back.
Guys didn't like me chucking a rock at it.
Yeah, maybe
No.
not.
All right, see you all back in 10 minutes. Bye.
All right.
Welcome back. And don't worry, audience is there. It's still just his camera that's a bit faulty, but at least he's there. So that's good. And I see that during the first half, we've had Chaotic Calling joining us. Always nice to have you with us. All right. So, let's just jump back in. The group has been overwhelmed by overtaken, I should say, by the darkness of the creature that was pursuing them. And now you all find yourself completely wrapped in darkness. Jorg, you know what's gonna happen in the next 2.5 seconds. Audience, let loose a divine sense to feel what is around him. And the one thing that you do sense is evil, but not pure, deep evil. An evil that feels like something good that was twisted evil.
Yes, much better.
Maybe through influence or sheer raw anger. Those sort of twisting.
Okay.
Think Voldemort.
I mean, I'll start to relay that to the group until whatever you said was happening in 2.5 seconds starts happening.
It's twisted and it's evil. Oh my god, my guts! I can. All right, so first thing that happens, and this probably brings back bad memory. You hear Ornak just starts yelling, "Ah! What's that?" Followed by audience, who fortunately you managed to brush off 2 strikes at you. They hit the hardened portion of your arm right now, but it feels like something just tried to claw you twice. Something that hits hard, a lot of power behind it. You know that the only reason why it didn't go through is because your arm is magically armored right now.
Okay, I guess I try to swing back at it since I'm holding my sword.
Yeah, that's right.
Something.
All right. How about everyone roll initiative? See in what order
Okay.
everyone's gonna go.
Hey.
That'll be a 14 for me.
17.
I got a 15.
All right. So Fisher 17. You said.
Yep. I know, right?
Yeah. Jorg 14. Audience, you said
14.
14 also. Remy, you said
16.
and Onak. And the beast. Alright. So, as anticipated, the initiative goes pretty well. Alright, so nothing changes. Audience, you get the 2 claw attempt at you. The next one on the list is Onak, who turns around and, well, actually you can't see this because everything is pitch black. It's like the darkness spell. You can barely see a few foot in front of you. However, it's not pure raw darkness like the spell. It's like excessively thick fog that completely obscures light.
Well, we've been in that before, so.
Yeah, but this one is slightly darker. It's really black fog and not fog. All right. You hear coming from somewhere inside of this, you hear a whip lash. Jorg, you'd probably recognize this as this is a druidic cantrip, the Thorn Whip. You hear Onak go, "I think I hit it! Doesn't seem to react!" The next one on the initiative is Fisher.
Hi. Remembering that I farted out all my spells,
Oh no.
I am just going to use my action to equip my shield.
Alright, you take out your shield, preparing yourself for combat. You can't see a damn thing. You can't even see 2 feet in front of you. You see your arms moving, and you see this thing that looks like fog that keeps shifting and moving, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Jorg, what do we do?
You gotta hit it with.
Well, actually, your turn is in last
Oh.
with audience.
Yeah. Oh.
Damn. Nice
Yeah.
attempt. So Fisher, you equip your shield and you ask for assistance from Jorg.
I will also summon my flail to my hand.
Okay. Easy enough.
From, my backpack
Yeah.
or belt, where it is.
Concentrate for a moment, and
'Cause
the flails
drawing
appear
it
in your
is
hand.
boring.
All right. The next one is Remy.
Okay. Does Raimi have any sense of where the creature might be? Or is it just...
Going with your passive perception, which is all you can do unless you want to spend the turn, your turn doing a perception roll. It's the oddest feeling. It feels like it is all around you, as if it was the fog.
You know what? I never thought I would use the phrase in this way, ever.
Okay.
But Raimi's going to take a stab at the dark.
Make an attack with disadvantage since you haven't hit it yet.
Uh-huh.
Trying to hit something solid.
Oh, that one would have been nice to have. Okay, not much different. That will be a 17 to hit.
17, alright. You wait for a moment, feel like something is moving, and you stab at something moving. Unfortunately, you feel like you went just behind it, half a second too late. Almost there.
Ah, damn. Then, in which case, Raimi is going to end his turn hoping for not to get retaliated at.
Okay. Remy, which means audience and Jorg. Jorg, it is your turn. What is your dexterity?
Mine is +1.
+1, which mean audience technically would be allowed to go before you. However, audience, you did hear Fisher yell, "Jorg, what do we do?" So I can let you decide to go after him if you want to, or you can just do the audience thing.
I would
so
probably
far.
wait to hear what Jorg said,
Okay.
at least. So I'll go after him.
Jorg, go ahead.
All right, how do I hit it? Because I know how. My character knows how.
Well, that's the thing. You're trying to hit something with that in the dark. So if you have a spell, it's an attack roll for the spell, meaning you have disadvantage because you don't know where it is. If you have something that has an area of effect, though you might hit your friends also, then
Right. Okay.
the saving throw would not be at disadvantage.
Okay, but there's nothing like something that I know to aim for.
No, at least you haven't seen something that you can actually aim for. You've managed to hit it before, but like I described,
But it's
it always...
all right. Well, I know you have to use radiant attacks if you have them, and just go crazy. And I'll shoot a sacred flame into the darkness
Alright, go ahead.
with a 7. Oh, a disadvantage, so that would be a 7.
7 to hit. You turn around, you try and focus, see something, and you think something is moving, and You stretch your arm, but your arm hits audience's shoulder, so the spell just you don't hit anything. Sorry, man.
All right. And I guess I will use my bonus action to make my special spirit totem,
Okay.
the unicorn.
Okay. Which does?
So it is a special, like a phantom unicorn that has a 30-foot field around it, and if I heal anyone, that effect is also applied to the characters in the field.
Okay.
And I can move it.
So even though you cannot see it, you are used to manifesting it, so you know it's there.
Also, we all gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the aura.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty handy.
If you know how to use it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, and then I can think of a few ways to use this in a very interesting way. Let's see if you think about it. Audience. Well, George,
Audience.
anything else you want to do? Okay.
Nah.
Audience.
Audience is gonna do his classic that he did against the wolves. It seems somewhat effective. Is if something hit me, I know it's nearby because it hit me, so I'm gonna try and hit it back.
Okay.
So it's gonna swing it where he thinks the claws hit his arm from,
At disadvantage.
with disadvantage. Yeah. Right. It rolls. No, my dice. Okay, give me a second.
Okay.
Okay. And okay, so that's it. So 21 was my lowest roll.
Wow. All right. Well, in good as always audience fashion, you wait for this moment and you feel something that is near you. You swing at it and you feel a contact. You've hit something.
I will, since someone literally just said use radiant damage if you had it, I will divine smite it as well.
Go ahead.
So that's going to be 3d8. Right? No. Wait. Is divine smite 3d8 or 2d8? I can't remember.
Depends on the spell slot.
First level is 2d8.
Okay, 2d8. So yeah, I'll do-
3d8
yeah.
if it's undead.
It's not undead.
Plus. It's plus 5. Yeah, plus 5. So 6. So 11. And then a radiant. Okay. So that's 11. Yeah, so 6 plus 11, so it's 11. So 20. So 22 damage, 11 of it is radiant.
All right. You hit and you see the flash of energy for a moment. There's a momentary flicker of this energy around you. You can briefly see sort of this odd face that redisappear inside of the darkness, and you hear this sound, something that is a bit odd. You hear and you see the darkness suddenly bunch up on itself. You suddenly, all of you can see one another, and you see it bolt inside the forest.
Pussy. No, okay.
Well, that seemed to work, I guess.
Yep. I can do it 2 more times.
Jorg,
Probably sounds like
have
a
you?
bad idea.
Hmm?
Well,
Does
what if
that
we follow
look
it?
familiar?
That was very very familiar. Except this time, all of us are still standing, so that's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
All right, let's go find the sanctuary before it comes back.
Mm-hmm. So, are we taking the path we originally came from?
I guess because that's one we haven't, or at least both of us weren't coming from when we ran into each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're going back from the path that you were coming out of, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause- yeah.
All right.
Originally, the first time,
Yeah.
not this. Yeah.
So you go back inside the path and you start walking. Again, something a bit odd happens because you remember walking in a path that was mostly straightforward for a while, but barely a few minutes later, you find yourself in a new Y shape. Intersection. This time the Y is much wider on the two branches, and it looks like you're coming from your perspective, the left branch of the Y.
Hmm.
Well, good news is this is new, so we didn't go in a circle. Possibly. Bad news is this wasn't here when we first came from this direction, so. Jorg, you have a preference?
You can go up or almost straight right.
Or we could go back again on the same path we just walked down.
See if the Y is still there. I want to try to mark the ground and see how permanent that mark might be.
Okay.
And just mark the path we came from.
Okay. So you mark the path. Something like an arrow or a.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're pointing toward the path that you're just taken? Or the path that you
or
are
like pointing
taking?
out of it. Yeah.
Okay, so the one that you're coming out of. So now you know where you came from. So where are you going from there?
I vote do I remember if the fairy circle was on top of the hill? Of a hill? If there is one?
You've been walking around for quite a while. The forest isn't cooperating in any way. Nothing, no visible landmark that you've been able to identify, a large rock or something like that, seems to stick.
Honestly, guys, I think I've been in here a lot longer than you guys, and I don't know if the paths are gonna take us anywhere.
What is that?
I think it's Sam.
It's the darkness coming from.
Oh no!
All right, so you decide to go up. Is that it?
Jorg, when you found the sanctuary, were you following the path?
I think about when I found the sanctuary.
You were desperately roaming about. You had just been attacked for the first time and lost a party member, and you had ran for quite a while. You stopped, you looked around for a while, took a few embranchment, and found yourself in there. So, how the heck did you manage that? You're not sure. You know that you've been able to go back there once or twice when you left, but so far, nothing sticks.
Well, I think we're gonna have to go off the path. I don't think these paths lead anywhere.
Well, audience, looks like we're following your plan now.
All right.
So lead on.
Okay. And I will just pick a random direction and just start walking off into the woods.
Not that way.
All right, so north, south, east, west. Where do you want to go?
You know, let's go east, rising sun towards the light. Some nice little metaphors there. Head east.
All right.
Look to the east. You know.
So squeezing between the two paths, the two Y branch of the path, you start going east, and this is when you realize you start walking inside the forest for maybe 1 minute, when you realize that you hadn't realized the wood seemed slightly lighter for a moment, but now the heaviness has returned. Jorg, you know this to be a sign that whatever creature is inhabiting this has started hunting again.
Uh-oh. It's coming back.
You've never seen it react this fast.
That was a lot faster than normal.
Maybe it liked being smacked. I'll smack it again.
For now, you don't see where it is, but Jorg seemed to say that it's on the hunt again, and much faster than he's used to.
Maybe it's scared then. Maybe we're on the right track.
Let's keep going.
All right.
Raimi is going to be holding action to make a stab if it attacks again.
Okay. So you move with your dagger in your hand, moving about.
He's already walking into a dark forest. Life is already tense.
And
Yes?
if we see it again, I want to put an entangle between us.
Okay. So you keep moving on eastward, and it only takes another 2 minutes. You're moving inside the wood, and it feels a little bit heavier than when you were on the roads. But the darkness seems to be a little bit more oppressive. It seems to be able to eat a lot more of Raimi's light from inside the wood. And after 2 minutes, you start hearing the sound again.
Okay.
Jorg, it has never happened that the creatures found you this fast.
Uh-oh. That was a lot faster than it usually finds us.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can't be any quieter. Tried. Doesn't work.
Sorry.
Maybe
Hey,
going into the wood was a mistake. Maybe it can sense us better in here if we're in the wood than if we're on a path, because maybe it's like less connected to the paths than it is to the woods. I don't know. Just a theory.
Yeah, I mean, just taking shots in the dark here, really.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't caught up with us yet, so let's keep going for as far as we can before it attacks again. So pick up the pace, everybody. Start jogging.
So you start moving again. Of course, Owenak trails a bit behind because he only has 25 feet of movement. So, so he's a bit slower than everyone else. But
Yeah, look back. Why can't you, like, we're in a forest, bud. What can you, like, track for us a little bit? You're, like, with the trees. Can you do something?
hold on. Where are his stats? It's here and here you go. File with an odd name. He turns to you and say this. I've been trying to speak to the forest. The trees don't answer. As far as everything else go, I think I can actually manage something the next time it attacks. I do have a bit of magical energy, and I can channel it into a beam of radiant light.
Okay.
But that's about it. The forest just doesn't answer. I've been trying to talk to the trees. It's like they're unconscious.
Mm.
Any idea how we would wake him up? Other than maybe killing this thing?
Well, I don't know how this problem works, but usually there's two ways of solving a grove problem. Removing whatever creature is creating the problem, or finding whatever problem is summoning a creature inside.
Fair enough.
Either way, we have to find the source of this.
We should try and maybe follow the creature next time it runs away if it attacks again. Maybe it'll lead us back to the source.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet since all my party died.
Fair enough.
Generally, you don't
You're
chase
with
after
us now.
something trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
Maybe while it's been hunting us, we should have been the ones hunting it. Flip the tables, if you get my meaning.
Hey, beats getting eaten alive. It took a big chunk out of my... Well, I guess for you it would be shoulder, but... George, this is a bit odd. You've never seen actually a living tree like this? You know they exist because you're a druid, but this is the first time you actually see one. He's a bit small. Smaller than you expected, but hey. Now you know they exist. For
On
sure.
a full-size tree. And also, it's eating a tree. Or biting one.
All interesting clues, maybe.
Does it smell like this is other shard stuff going on? Or is this...
You take a moment. Please roll a wisdom check for me, please. Because you're so good at them.
18.
18, wow, that's a lot better than usual.
Yeah.
You take a moment and... No. You don't feel the influence of a shard. This is not something that's the result of interplanar dimensional shard interference.
Well, I think that's comforting. Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, you hear Taranad inside of you go, no, I think it's a good thing. It means it's not something that's been corrupted. You know what the tree said?
But
I think it wants something.
the creature or the forest?
Yeah. I guess that's the real question, isn't it? Which one?
I guess.
Jorg,
Yeah.
all you're hearing is Fisher talking to himself. What I've said, you don't hear it. Terranad is a creature that lives inside Fisher. He speaks to Fisher telepathically. So when I say Terranad goes and says something, you don't hear what I'm saying. You only hear what Fisher is saying.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
This thing. And I'll poke the glowing blue light on my chest.
The correct answer was the voice is in his head. But
Yeah.
sure, go ahead.
It's a long story. We can talk about it when we're not in possible mortal peril.
He points toward a light on his chest, maybe roughly the size of an apple, I think.
Yeah.
It's a blue light, soft blue light.
Not too familiar with creatures of metal, but
No, and
I will want to know about that.
in the Shattered Continent, Warforged aren't there for long enough. No one is calling them Warforged. It's only been maybe 100 years since Construct have been spontaneously becoming self-aware. It's a debate. Some people don't believe it's awareness. Some people think it's an arcane malfunction. However, some priests have noticed that some of them have managed to harness priestly magic. A god wouldn't grant priestly magic to something that doesn't have a soul. So, you know that some of them actually are sentient. But some of them could be arcane malfunction. So far, you haven't seen Fisher use anything that's divine, so it's really up to you. But it's weird. It's not that common. Since you very often work with villagers, you know that a lot of villagers don't like this idea, because when they do find enough money to buy one, they want to put it to work. But if it starts becoming sentient and not want to do the work, they just lost all the money they had for absolutely nothing. So it's not something that's necessarily liked for many reasons. Because sometimes constructs that are military become self-aware. And people don't like that. The idea of, hey, he could have prevented killing my family, but he didn't. So there's a lot of mixed feeling about sentient construct. And Fisher is most likely the one that you've been the closest to physically, as it's slowly becoming apparent that he is a construct and seems to be self-aware. So we go back to the game. So what do you all do?
Keep going the where we're going
Sam,
until it
see where
catches up to us, right?
yeah, Sam, it feels like you dropped the phone inside a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Are you all
I
right?
don't know.
Okay, so that's all right. Probably just interference. All right.
That's because he's all of that and a bag of chips.
Oh, all right. So, what do you? What do you keep? What do y'all do? Keep going forward? Do you want to do something?
Can we see where it's coming from yet?
Oh, the darkness is a little bit thicker. You don't see it. You can barely see beyond 30 feet inside the wood like this. And you know you can hear it coming up to 60 feet. So you're completely blind right now, and you know that it's near and hunting.
Raimi continues to hold his action.
All right, so
Yeah, we all. Oh, wait.
you are inside the wood. I believe you said you just start moving faster to try and get back to the path somehow. Is that it?
No, we're just moving faster to the east, so wherever that
Okay.
takes us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you manage to maybe move another 100 feet. So not even a minute. When it becomes apparent that the creature is right behind you. Slowly moving, hunting you.
I'm gonna ready an action in case it attacks again, like Remy had to swing it if it attacks us.
Okay. You keep on moving for maybe another 30 feet. And your ready action boats spring into action as you see it just burst into action and suddenly surround you. And again, you find yourself in darkness. Before you have time to act, you are in darkness. But your action do trigger as soon as you are completely in the dark. So Remy and audience, you both get this instantaneous attack. Also at disadvantage because it is already on you.
Right. Will a soft 20 hit?
Yes. You actually managed to turn around, and just as you saw this mass arriving, you say, okay, that's probably where the center is, and darkness, you feel something hard hitting. However, it does feel like most of it was pushed back, meaning it has resistance against even magical slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, anyway.
Well, then it will take half of 8.
So you're confident you hit it, but you're also confident that that should have hit much harder than that.
I missed. I rolled a 13.
Definitely, you hit just as it passes, and you remember that just before you hit, and fortunately, oh fuck, that's where Fisher is supposed to be. Oh, okay. Fisher, you feel this whoosh of air just in front of you, just go. All right, we can keep the initiative we had last time. So the creatures, well, unless you wanted to roll for it again.
I'm good.
Yeah, let's just keep it.
Okay. I was saying that because I just looked at the sheet and I just remember, oh yeah, the creature goes first.
I think it still makes more sense just to keep it like it's,
Okay.
Just for simplicity.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, first attack goes to audience with a 19.
Which hits. Barely.
Unaware of where the attacks come, you are unable to defend properly, and you feel something slashing inside of you. You take 8 points of slashing damage.
Ow.
It does feel like a cat striking at you, except that it has a paw the size of a basketball. The next attack goes to Remy. You feel a claw swipe coming right at you, but not that big for a 16 to hit.
And it will miss.
Just in time, you feel the air moving toward you, and you just dodge it just enough so you don't get hit. But you do feel this right in front of you. It has claws.
Can I use Sentinel Strike if I can't technically see if the person is within 5 feet of me?
That's a good question. Hold on.
Does Sentinel say?
That's what I'm going to look at.
Normally, for an opportunity attack, if I'm remembering the wording correctly, it's that you do need to be able to see your target. So it's kind of depending on if we are defining this as a target you can see.
Okay, interesting. Hold on. Can I see something that would help you in this? Where is it? Sentinel. Okay. When a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you. No, it doesn't state that you have to see it.
Oh no, I'm speaking. I'm actually looking it up now, but it's in the opportunity attacks in general.
Oh,
Sentinel
all right.
Doesn't give you an opportunity attacks rather specifically. No. It just triggers a special attack.
Yeah, I think it's different than an opportunity
when a
attack.
Within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you. You can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature. So it technically,
in which case it's not an opportunity attack. So I guess it goes for it.
So I guess you just see all of this fog moving, and you hear Remy go. You hear Remy move just in time, giving you a brief moment where you think you know where the enemy is.
Yep. Then I'll take a swing at it using my reaction. So let's see if I can do a little better this time. Okay. Probably going to be my lowest. Yeah, that was definitely going to be my lowest. Okay. Does 17 hit?
No. You strike, but you have the feeling that you barely missed it just as it was recoiling from the attack it made. You feel that's just when you attacked. Missed it by so little.
Unfortunate. So it has a must-have 18. Okay, it has 18 AC then. All right, I'll keep track of that.
All right. All right. So. Oh yes. Okay. Moonbay.
And then from the shadows, a man with long white hair appears with a rose whip. Kurama has joined the fight.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's Yoko Kurama.
Damn. Okay. Unfortunately, you hear Ornak says, "I can't see where you all are. I run the risk of hitting you."
I'll say, I mean, yes. Do you want our permission to go ahead? Is that what you're asking?
It's around. That's what he does, and nothing happens. So maybe he's holding an action to see if he has an answer. But unfortunately, audience, you're the last person in the group to answer this.
One. Yeah. Well, someone else can answer.
So the next one is Fisher. You hear Orunak just yell this to the group. I can't see where you all are. I run the risk of hitting all of you. Meaning that
We're all
he
shooting in the dark. Go for it.
All right. I was saying most likely because it's an area of effect, but yeah, go. Let's do this. All right. Okay. Okay, so you see a beam of light appear, engulfing the entire area where you all are. It just comes down from the skies and hits the ground. Fortunately, the beam is narrow enough that it doesn't hit you, and it doesn't hit any of you right now. And managed to succeed that. Oh,
Oganak uses Moon Tiara magic.
You see the beam of light forming. For you, George, you sort of recognize this. It's Moonbeam. And audience also, I believe Paladin also can use Moonbeam.
I don't think so.
Okay, I think
Both of Ancient's Paladin.
Oh, sorry, all right. So you see the light forming above and just hits the ground hard. On a place that you're very thankful is not where you are standing. It hits hard, and you suddenly see this momentary flicker of the creature. However, the creature managed to just shrug it off mostly, and seems to be not very hurt by it, but still, you hear a familiar, but this time it doesn't leave. The hit wasn't hard enough. The shadows remain all around you.
Okay.
So Fisher, you said, yeah, go ahead. And Orunak was holding action for an answer. So the moment you said go ahead, it went off. So now is your turn. What do you want to do?
I'm going to, because even though I never really have much luck with this, but since it's darkness and I don't think flailing around inside of it literally is going to do a whole lot, I'm going to put the flail away and yeet a firebolt into the moonbeam.
Okay, yeah, no, sure, that's sort of work. You have a better idea of where it is. But the light doesn't pierce the shadow. The shadow that this creature emits is stronger than the light of the moonbeam. You still attack at disadvantage.
This is gonna be good.
I'm gonna laugh if you hit it.
Bruh, me too. First, it's me attacking with a spell, and then also I have disadvantage, so you know that's gonna be 10.
10?
Yeah.
You look where you think it is, where the beam just hit. Throw it! You don't hear anything that would suggest that you actually hit it.
Sounds about right.
But hey, it's complete darkness, so maybe you did.
Yeah.
Alright, so Fisher keeps with tradition and miss on a spell attack. So we have Remy.
It's always so mean when it comes from the DM. It's one thing when the players say it, it's another thing when the DM rubs it in.
Hey man, I'm used to it by now.
Yeah, I keep going at him with Terranad, so just think that he said that. Yep, keeping with tradition. So, Fisher, anything else you want to do? Move, yell, scream, cry, pray, dance? Fisher?
Yeah, no, I mean I missed.
Okay.
That's about it.
Alright, no, you could want to try and move, but... Alright, Remy. Your turn. You managed to hit it, which
Yep.
does mean that the Bloodhound's ability kicks in.
Yeah, so like speaking with keeping with tradition, Raimi is going to take the reel back the bloodhound in his hand and throw it literally into the darkness.
Go ahead.
Hoping that it's like, come on, I believe in you. I believe a 19 hit last time.
Yes.
I heard it.
You throw it,
Alright.
and it does feel like it hits something. You just hear a small... "Nyah!"
Now I will ask, just because with like a lack of clarity of how this creature works, is this creature technically within 5 feet of all of my allies?
All of them, no, but at least one.
Getting sneak attacked by just yeeting a dagger into the darkness.
Well, the Bloodhound does have a special ability.
It's a tracking dagger.
Sort of.
All right, that. So then half of 17 piercing damage.
Okay. Meaning...
Which will be an 8 or 9 depending on how you round it.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't seem to be moving off. But you're confident it hits, and even when you make it come back, for a brief moment, it feels like some of the shadow on the blade is solid, but then it turns back into smoke, or whatever this is.
Yeah, George, just for visual sake, or also auditory sake, you hear Raimi give a whistle, and suddenly, the dagger just flies right back into his hand.
It's pretty cool.
Or that's what you would see if you were able to see anything.
What you heard was probably just a...
What's this thing launching arrows now? But that'll end Raimi's turn. He's got nothing else to do.
Okay, well then we have Jorg and Audience. Technically, Audience goes first. Pyre
I
dexterity.
guess I'll go. I'll go for my third attack this round, which I'll probably miss
Okay.
on the creature. Come on, baby. Just need 18.
We believe
Come
in
on.
you.
18. What is that? That should do it, because that's going to be a 19.
Yes, it does. You wait a moment and you think it's there. And you actually do connect.
Alright, and I'll use another Divine Smite. So, 88. So, first one Yeah, that's doesn't really. Alright, and then, okay, so 1 plus 5, so 6 regular damage, and then 13. 13 radiant damage.
Okay. So you see the flash of energy flare, and you hear a slightly different sound, but one that you've also heard before, Jorg. You hear just this. And you see the mists around you, the fog, completely dissipates.
Can we see which way it's going, though?
No, the fog dissipated, as if you pulverized it. However, Jorg, you know that this simply means it's gonna take a little bit longer for it to reappear.
We've got some time.
Okay.
Is anyone hurt?
I mean,
Nope.
I took a scratch, but I'm fine.
Jorg, the cleric that was in your group managed to hit it pretty hard with a divine spell. And you've heard that sound before. You know that it's gonna take it longer for it to come back, but that's about all that you're sure. Nothing that the other group did manage to kill it. It always comes back.
I might be regenerating, to be fair.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe. No, it wouldn't go in the ring in the fairy ring. That's our. Well, that's the only sanctuary I know of in this place.
I mean, we've already traveled far enough east. We might as well keep going east. I don't really think there's a point to go back.
Yeah. Maybe at least we'll find the path again.
Yeah, if we keep going the same direction.
So you keep going for a little while, and sorry, it does take 5 or 6 minutes, but eventually you find yourself in the middle of a path.
Okay.
It goes left or right, and just before you connect with the path and take it the way you want it, but last time that the creature disappeared like that, it took it several hours before you were even worried that it was near. But just before you connect with the path, you have this, again, sensation of heaviness. It came back so much faster, but not as fast could be. But the moment you step back on the path, it feels slightly less heavy. But it's still there.
I think we should stay on the path from now on. I think,
Yep.
again,
Yeah,
a
good
feeling. So, if that's the case, there has to be some kind of pattern to this. Because you noticed the last time before we went off into the woods how things seemed to be getting kind of brighter.
Yeah.
Briefly.
But then it
I
came
mean,
back.
it's brighter when it goes away.
Yeah, but we seem to be making some kind of progress on the path, so... I mean, now we can go literally any direction because we don't know, but...
Well, the
We're not.
the
Are
path,
we at an intersection or just on a path?
the path that you just reconnected with only goes left or right.
Okay.
Feels like you reconnected with a path in the middle of it, or something like that.
You know what? 'Cause I haven't used one in a while. I'm going to pop another Divine Sense and see if I can figure out which way feels better to go. I don't know if it'll actually work like that, but try and sense some kind of, like, good energy from one of the ways.
Well, as I've always said and keep reminding you every so often, If you feel that your character would have a better intuition that you would have, because your character is knee deep inside of shit and he's actually living through all of this, you can always ask me if you can make a wisdom roll, meaning an intuition roll.
Can I try
Sure.
to... Oh, okay.
Well, any of us. Do we all want to make wisdom rolls? See if we.
Yeah, I want to try to think
I
about...
rolled for it and have decided on left unless somebody has a better idea.
Okay. I rolled a 15.
I rolled 14, trying to remember anything about the paths.
Or
Yeah, just in general.
Okay. Remy, did you roll?
I rolled a soft 20 intuition roll.
plus everything.
Damn. All right. Okay. So you take a moment and look around, and your intuition, Remy, picks up on something that feels slightly odd, slightly out of place. When audience took a rock on the ground and threw it, there was glowing moss on it. That's not normal in a forest. Jorg, there's a brief detail that comes back into your mind. You remember seeing, almost at the edge of the clearing in which the fairy ring was, there seemed to be the heavily damaged remains of a basket. Ooh. The kinds of basket that kids have when they go inside bushes to pick fruits, flowers, mushrooms. That's it. That's all you get for your rolls.
When
do I get nothing?
No, I placed the DC at 15. Sorry.
When audience threw the rock with the moss on it,
yep.
Did the light from the moss also get snuffed out by the darkness?
Make an intelligence roll to remember.
8.
I was gonna say you're usually better at those, but okay. So
roll a 5.
You weren't paying attention to that detail when it happened.
Sounds about right.
I want to try calling out to the kid. Is there anyone in here? Just seeing if I hear that.
Okay, what exactly do you say?
I want to yell, is there a child in here?
You get no response.
I turn to the others. You guys don't have a child, do you?
Technically, yes, but most likely for what you're asking for, no.
Right. I heard one laughing when I saw you guys.
Why are you calling out for a child? Why do you think there's a child here? Besides the laughter? Or
That's the only reason.
oh, okay.
I mean,
But
that's
I
pretty
was
fair.
following it, and it either led me to you, or I got distracted and should have kept following it.
Huh.
But I feel like we need to find that. There's
We
also,
need to find a child.
yeah, now that I think about it, there was a basket in the clearing with the fairy ring. Could be that there's a lost child in here, or the lost spirit of one.
Okay. Tell me if you see any like berries or anything. Maybe we can make kids like berries. Maybe if we find some berries, we can like offer them or something to the woods, and whatever you're saying, child will come find us.
You've got a bag of berries right there on your stick.
I do. I'll pull out a handful of berries and call. I have some berries. They're sweet and ripe.
You wait for a moment. The feeling of heaviness starts to slightly intensify, but you know that you're being hunted, so this is not completely unexpected. But you hear no answer. Remy, feels like you want to say something.
Raimi is going to see if, especially like maybe especially on the surrounding rocks, but also like along the pathway, if he can find that moss again.
Make a perception roll for me, please.
And just to be safe, I'm going to burn the slot that's still in my lantern to give myself advantage for the next 10 minutes, finding one.
Okay.
Thank God for that. That was a 2 on the die. A 21.
21. You look around. No, you don't find anything. You don't find anything like that. But you do remember one detail. You were at an intersection the last time you did that.
Oh. Wait. Okay. I don't know if audience would figure that. I might have figured out something.
Have we started walking a direction yet, or are we still picking a direction to walk
No,
in?
we were dicking around. Now we should probably pick a direction and go. So
We're going
you want-
left.
we're going left? Okay, I got no argument with that. We'll go left.
Okay. Keep on going left. The path curves slightly to your left. And it takes maybe 7 or 6 minutes until you reach an intersection. Again, an intersection in Y. The two branches of the Y, it's again a Y that is reversed. So the two branches are going downward and one branch is going up. From your perspective, it feels like you're going up the right lower branch when you arrive.
All right, because I think I had the same idea as Sam, I'm now going to see if I can find the moss at this intersection.
Okay. Audience?
I mean, audience doesn't know anything. So I'm like, I figured out something, but audience wouldn't know because he's not. He didn't remember the moss.
Okay.
All right, 24.
24. You look around and you notice something in the intersection. Again, there is no trace of steps or anything like that, but on the branch that seems to be going where you were coming from, right at the entrance of this road, but maybe only for 6 or 5 feet more, you see rocks with a glowing moss on it. On the branch that goes to the left, right to your left when you start, you see flowers growing there. Small red flowers. And on the path that goes up, you notice that the trees have a very odd dark color.
Raimi is going to because like it could go in either direction, but I'm going to go for the more PC friendly version. Raimi is going to point out the flowers that he sees.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's fairly easy to notice when Remy points them out. There are small red flowers growing on the branch that is right next to your left when you arrive.
Audience is going to be of no help.
Sam is
I
of
wanna
help,
check
but
the
audience, no. Alright, Jark, what did you say? Sorry.
I want to check out those flowers, and they're only growing on.
They're only
Ones.
growing on one path, and only for a few feet at the entrance of the path.
But I like that. The flowers are good. We should follow the flowers.
But they stop.
Yep.
They're only at the entrance to the path.
Yep.
Do I remember if there were flowers in the clearing?
No, a fairy ring is usually made out of mushrooms.
Yeah, but there were no flowers
However,
around either.
because you asked me that question, I will allow you to make an intelligence roll for remembering.
Ooh, that's a 19.
19?
Yep.
Okay. You vaguely remember seeing
Oh,
toadstool growing on a path. You don't remember which one, but you remember toadstool growing at one point.
there's none around here, is there?
No.
What kind of flowers are these?
I don't know them by heart. Terranad most likely does. And he would be able to give you the the arcane name for them, but I don't. It's a small red flower, maybe the size of violets. And they grow in small bunches right on the both side of the path, but only for a few feet.
So,
Okay.
Raimi-
Remy,
You
yes?
said Terranad knows what they are.
Yeah, he can most likely give you the arcane name, which is the equivalent of us saying the Latin name.
Sign. Okay. Does he know any context of if they're used in anything specific or what they're found around or?
Takes a moment to think about it, and well, other than a lot of kids usually like picking them up, giving them to their mother. It's a really common flower. No potion uses this. No ritual that I know of uses this.
I'm gonna stand on the path between the flowers and just look at Raimi and shrug.
Raimi is going to summon up some courage, and he is going to start making his way down the path,
Which one?
leading. The one with the flowers.
The one with the flowers.
Yes.
All right. So you start going down this path, and it feels slightly odd as you go down that path, and one thing you do realize is that when you were looking at it, it felt like the path was turning left, but while you're walking it, your senses are telling you you're turning right. It takes a moment. You walk for maybe 5-10 minutes, and you eventually arrive at another Y-shaped intersection. You do feel the darkness growing, but for Jorg, this is, this, it's hunting. It's not gonna stop hunting.
Raimi is going to look around for signs of growing nature again.
Okay. Remy, you noticed when you arrive at that intersection, it's again a Y intersection.
Mm-hmm.
You arrive at the branches. I think you figured out that most intersections in this are going to be Y intersections. I was just drawing it, and oh wow, they're all Y intersection. Okay, cool. So, the path that you just came out of, when you stand at the middle of it, you turn around, and you feel it's supposed, from your perspective, to turn to the left, but it looks like it's going straight. And when you look at what is under it, on the ground, you see that the barks on the tree is dark. However, the lone Y shape has flowers on it. And the Y shape that goes to your left when you arrived have glowing moss.
So Raimi is going to point down the path that where the glowing moss is. And if there are no objections from
Sounds good.
anybody else, he's
Let's do
going
it.
to lead them down that way.
Right. You move downward, and for maybe 5 or 6 minutes, again, the sensation becomes... Oh, sorry. The sensation again becomes thicker. The beast is drawing near. That is for sure. When you arrive at this Y intersection again, the perception that you have is a bit weird and odd because everything's not curving in the right direction, but again, you find 3 things on the ground. However, this time, you didn't expect this one. The 2 Y shapes, the 2 lower branch of the Y shape, both have flowers on it. And the one in front of you has glowing moss.
Mm.
I think we gotta follow the moss.
So
It's a
maybe
moss.
it thinks for a moment, then kind of nods in agreement.
Okay.
Okay. You follow this path for only a few minutes before again you find yourself in front of another path. The sensation of darkness grows even thicker, and Jorg, I was about to say George. Jorg.
It's so hard not to.
That'll be
Yeah.
too easy.
Jorg, you have the sensation that, alright, he's just outside of the field of vision that you can usually have. He's right next, really near. He's most likely, since he seemed to be able to navigate, on the path that is the most straightforward toward your group. Remy, the Y interception that you... Sorry?
I think there was an echo.
Okay. So this is where you are, and this is where you go. All right. So when you look at the path that you are coming from has flowers. The path that is to your left has flowers also. And the path that goes straight in front of you has dark bark on it, on the trees on each side.
What if we just turn around to go? But what about the path we just came on? Does it have moss on it?
No, it has flowers on it.
Oh,
There's two paths with flowers. The dark moss
Probably-
is spooky.
we probably still want to take flowers over moss,
Dark
I mean,
bark,
dark-
you mean?
over dark bark. Also, my phone is about to die. I'm just
Yeah.
letting you guys know.
Okay, well, anyway, the stream
Oh.
is supposed to have ended a
Flowers.
few minutes ago. So I don't mind saying that, okay, we can keep going for the next one. This can be a 2-part one-shot.
Sounds good.
I
I'm
mean, I
so
think we're-
tired right now.
We're getting better. We've at least figured out something. We figured
Yeah.
out. the path.
And the moment that you figure out the thing that right now is puzzling you, you're going to look at yourself and, oh, come on. You mean that's... Oh,
Uh,
because I just look at you, Remy, right now, Zach, and feels like you want to insult me.
No, I'm just having another idea,
Okay.
and I'll have to impose on that idea the next session. Then
Okay. All right, then. So, I'm just going to put a little star of where you are right now so I know exactly where to
Just
pick
check
up.
out now because my phone's about to die and I need to get it. So I'm gonna check out a little early tonight.
That's all right.
So-
We're going to end right now, so we're going to pick up from there, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, so as I've just stated, this is the end of the stream for tonight, as we have one person whose phone is no longer able to follow us, but everyone is a little bit tired. And to be honest, I did state at the very beginning of all of this that the stream was supposed to end at 1:30 for me, so... But yeah, don't worry about it. So this is where we're going to pick up next time. And, well, the vote hasn't been in yet, but I really don't think that there's a problem about Jorg coming back next session. So everyone seems to like him. Everyone seems to be okay with it. So
Not he sucks.
give it out.
No, just the character, not the
Disappear.
Get a new name and then we can talk.
Yeah, new name. Jorg is too weird.
Well, it's just that we keep going back to George.
George.
The first time I saw
Yeah.
it, I don't know why, but I got George of the Jungle playing in my mind.
Oh god.
It's because there are two G's, but you pronounce them differently. Is the problem that I keep having with it.
That does make it weird.
But that's all right. Hey, I've
One's
seen
a soft G and the other's a hard G.
I've seen far worse names than this. Believe me. I've been playing
Almost
Dungeons.
saying Gorg, and I'm
I've-
like, no, that's not it.
I've been a dungeon master since 1996, and I've seen so much weirder name. So don't worry too much about it.
Alright.
All right, so everyone, thank you for listening in. Thank you for being with us for this session. Hopefully, we're not going to have too many more problems with players from now on, and the story can pick up. And as a matter of fact, it's going to pick up quite drastically very soon. So be sure to be there for
Yay.
the next few. Yeah. You know, this chapter was about waking the object of each character, and seeing as it's awakened for all character except our new friends for tonight, as soon as this happens, most likely the chapter is going to end, and then the story starts picking up, because the next chapter is all about the story that is behind all of what's happening right now. So stay tuned. You're gonna start seeing more about the actual story behind this campaign, which has been moving so slowly. I know, and I'm so sorry, but we've had to introduce so many players in the past. You have no idea how frustrating it is for me. So, thank you very much for watching us tonight. We hope to see you again next Wednesday, so long as the world doesn't end. But hey, we're in the right direction. You know, things are starting to get better. Mostly. So see you all next week. And as always, if you enjoyed the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, if we reach 50 followers on Twitch, we get to activate subscriptions. So there's going to be that. And of course, you can always support the stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, or simply by spreading the word of the channel to your friends, to your family, to strangers in the street, because hey, they're bound to be getting really tired of being confined. So just open the window, yell at the first person that you see, hey, watch Dungeons and Dragons. It's okay. We're good with it. We don't mind if that's the reason why they're watching us. So thank you everyone for watching us, for being with us. Have a nice week. See you all next Wednesday. Be safe, and as always, especially in these weird times we're living, stay healthy. Bye.
So